Emotions can be overwhelming. Sometimes they push us to say or do things we later regret. But what if you could learn to pause, take control, and choose your response instead of reacting automatically? This skill isn't about ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about gaining power over them so they don't control your life. Imagine moving through your day with calm confidence, no matter what challenges come your way. You don't have to be perfect, but you can train yourself to respond thoughtfully and keep your peace. That kind of control brings freedom. It helps you build better relationships, make clearer decisions, and stay focused on what truly matters. In this guide, you will discover simple and practical steps to master your emotions. You'll learn how to create space between feeling and reacting. You'll see how quiet reflection and discipline can strengthen your self-worth and mental clarity. You'll find out how to let go of stress caused by things outside your control and how to stay grounded even when anxiety tries to pull you off course. This is not a quick fix. It takes daily practice and honest self-examination. But the reward is a life lived on your terms, less chaos, less regret, and more peace. Every chapter offers advice you can use right now to improve your emotional control and build lasting resilience. If you're ready to take charge of your emotions and lead a more peaceful, purposeful life, this is your chance. Let's explore the power of not reacting and how it can change everything. Chapter 1. Master the urge to react in difficult moments. The moment you choose not to react is the moment you take back your power. That power has always been yours, but it gets lost when emotions take the lead and decisions are made from a place of pain, anger, fear, or pride. Most people live their lives in reaction mode. Someone says something rude and they snap. Life throws a challenge at them and they panic. A loved one disappoints them and they explode. And in each of these situations, without realizing it, they give away their control. Emotional reactions feel natural, but they are not always useful. They might feel good for a moment, but they often leave damage behind that takes far longer to repair. The truth is, your ability to not react, especially in difficult moments, is one of the greatest strengths you can build. It doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore your pain. It means you choose how and when to respond with full awareness, not as a slave to impulse. Difficult moments test your character. They reveal what you're made of, and more importantly, they offer you a chance to grow stronger. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when things feel hard, unfair, or out of your control, but you stay grounded anyway. Mastering the urge to react starts with self-awareness. Most people don't pause to ask themselves what's really happening inside. They feel discomfort and immediately seek relief. But discomfort is not an emergency. It's information. It's your inner world trying to tell you something. Maybe you're feeling disrespected, unappreciated, or overwhelmed. Maybe you're triggered by something from your past. Whatever it is, that feeling is valid, but what you do next is what defines you. The first skill to build is the ability to pause. That small gap between stimulus and response is where your power lives. It might be just a second or two, but it's enough to breathe, enough to observe, enough to decide who you want to be in that moment. This pause is not weakness, it's strength in its highest form. It's the refusal to be controlled by emotion. You are not a machine. You are not a reaction. You are a thinking, aware, conscious being with the ability to respond wisely. The world doesn't reward impulsiveness. It rewards those who can stay calm when everyone else is losing their heads. Think about the last time you reacted in a way you later regretted. Maybe you yelled at someone. Maybe you sent a message you shouldn't have. Maybe you walked away from something without giving it real thought. How long did that moment last? Maybe 30 seconds, but how long did the consequences last? Maybe hours, days, or weeks. Now think about what would have happened if you had paused, breathed, reflected, and responded with intention instead. That's the kind of person you want to become. Someone who is in control of themselves regardless of the situation. Difficult moments come in many forms: a disrespectful coworker, a delayed plan, a family conflict, financial stress, health problems, bad news. Each one carries emotional weight. But here's something powerful to remember. The external situation is not what causes suffering. It's your internal reaction to it. When something hard happens, the event itself may be beyond your control, but how you think about it, how you choose to respond, and what you do next are fully in your hands. That's where your freedom lives. You can build this skill in small ways every day. When someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of yelling or chasing them, breathe and let it go. When a friend says something that bothers you, instead of reacting defensively, ask yourself if it's worth your peace. When your plans fall apart, instead of complaining, look for what you can learn or adapt to. These moments are not random. They are training. Every time you pause, you grow. Every time you choose not to react, you reinforce your inner strength. It's like building a muscle. It takes practice, patience, and daily repetition. Another important part of mastering the urge to react is understanding your emotional patterns. Everyone has triggers. Maybe it's being ignored, criticized, or controlled. These triggers usually come from past experiences that were never healed. When someone hits one of those sensitive spots, your reaction can feel automatic and overwhelming. But you are not your past. You can rewire how you respond. The first step is noticing the trigger. The second step is breathing through it. The third step is choosing a better response. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. It's also important to take care of your physical and mental state. When you're tired, hungry, or overwhelmed, your emotional resilience drops. Small things feel big. Minor issues seem urgent. That's why daily self-care matters. Eating well, sleeping enough, exercising, and taking time to decompress are not luxuries. They're necessities. They create the internal stability you need to handle life with strength. The stronger your foundation, the less likely you are to react out of weakness. Another way to strengthen this ability is through reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, where did I react today? What could I have done differently? What triggered me? What lesson can I take from it? This kind of honest reflection builds self-awareness. It helps you prepare for the next time, and there will always be a next time. Life will never stop testing you. The goal is not to eliminate problems. The goal is to meet them with more strength than you had yesterday. Some people will misunderstand your calm as weakness. That's their problem, not yours. Your peace is not a performance. It's a choice. When you stop reacting to everything, you become untouchable in the best way. Not cold or distant, but deeply grounded. People start to respect your presence, not because you dominate the room, but because you don't get pulled into every storm. Your calm becomes your strength. Your silence becomes your clarity. Your patience becomes your protection. And over time, something beautiful happens. You stop needing to explain yourself to everyone. You stop chasing validation. You stop being easily offended. You learn to hold space for discomfort without rushing to fix it. You learn to stay with your feelings, understand them, and release them with maturity. That's real emotional intelligence. Not pretending you don't feel, but choosing how and when to act based on wisdom, not impulse. You begin to see that most people are reacting all the time. They're not thinking, they're not grounded, they're just bouncing from one emotional outburst to the next. And you don't judge them. You just recognize that you don't want to live like that anymore. You want peace. You want purpose. You want power. And all of that starts with mastering the simple yet profound choice to not react in difficult moments. This doesn't mean you avoid hard conversations or allow others to walk over you. It means you respond with clarity and strength instead of ego and emotion. You speak when it matters. You stay silent when it doesn't. You pick your battles, you protect your energy, and you remember that your time, your focus, and your emotional state are your responsibility. No one else can manage them for you. Sometimes you'll feel the urge rising fast. You'll want to defend yourself, prove your point, or strike back. And in that moment, just breathe. Slow down. Give yourself the space to choose. Remember that every time you do this, you're training yourself to be stronger, calmer, and more in control. And that's not just a good feeling, it's a life-changing skill. This kind of strength changes everything. It improves your relationships. It increases your confidence. It reduces regret. It protects your health. It brings clarity to your decisions. And it allows you to stay focused on what truly matters. When you stop reacting to noise, you start hearing your own voice. And that voice will guide you toward peace, growth, and success. You will still feel anger, sadness, frustration, and disappointment. You're human, but those feelings won't drive your life anymore. You will feel them, understand them, and then act from a place of purpose. That's the difference between a life ruled by emotion and a life guided by wisdom. Over time, people will notice. They'll feel the calm in your presence. They'll feel safe around you. They'll seek your advice. Not because you know everything, but because you know yourself. And that's what the world needs. More people who are not just reacting, but choosing. More people who lead with wisdom instead of impulse. More people who stand strong in storms instead of feeding the chaos. It all starts with one decision. In the next difficult moment, will you react or will you choose to pause? That's the real power. That's where change begins. Every time you choose not to react, you build the life you truly want, one breath, one moment, one decision at a time. Chapter 2. Train your mind to pause before you respond. Most people go through life saying whatever comes to mind the moment they feel discomfort, offense, or pressure. They speak without thinking, act without reflection, and often regret what they said or did just minutes later. This is not a flaw in intelligence, it's a lack of mental discipline. The ability to pause before responding is not something you're born with. It's a trained skill, and it's one of the most important skills you'll ever build. Because in that brief pause lies the power to change the direction of a conversation, protect a relationship, or even redirect your entire life. Training your mind to pause is not about being passive or quiet. It's about creating space between what happens around you and what you choose to do about it. Without that space, you're stuck in reaction mode, tossed around by every emotion, every disagreement, and every stressful moment. But once you learn how to create that pause, just a few seconds of mental clarity, you take back control, not control over others, but control over yourself. That's where true power begins. Pausing begins with awareness. You can't interrupt a reaction you don't notice. So the first step is to catch yourself in the moment. Your heart beats faster, your breathing changes. You feel the tightness in your chest or the rush of anger or fear. That's the cue. That's your mind's signal that you're entering a state where reactions usually take over. This is the moment to stop, not later. Right then. You don't need to fix anything yet. Just stop the cycle before it starts. Take a breath, let your body register the emotion, but don't let it lead the conversation. Once you recognize that you're about to respond emotionally, the second step is to ask yourself a simple but powerful question. Is this how I want to respond? That question brings your attention to the present moment. It brings your awareness back to choice. Because no matter how strong the emotion feels, you always have a choice. That question gives you a second to consider your values, your goals, and the possible consequences of what you're about to say or do. Many people say they can't help it, that their emotions just take over, but what they really mean is they haven't trained the pause. It's no different from any physical training. At first it feels impossible. You forget. You fall back into old habits. You respond too quickly. But with time and practice, the pause becomes natural. You begin to notice your pattern. You begin to see situations unfold before you act. You begin to realize that most of the time, you don't need to respond immediately at all. This is especially true during conflict. Most arguments escalate because no one pauses. One person speaks emotionally, the other reacts, and it goes back and forth until damage is done. But imagine if even one person in that conversation paused before speaking. Imagine if one person took a breath, looked at the bigger picture, and responded with intention instead of instinct. That one pause could prevent hours of conflict. That one moment of discipline could save a relationship. Training your mind to pause is not only helpful in conflict, it's valuable in everyday decisions. When you're about to quit something because it feels hard, pause. When you're about to take on something out of guilt, pause. When you're tempted to scroll your phone instead of doing the task you committed to, pause. That pause allows you to choose alignment over impulse. It puts your goals ahead of your feeling. It protects your long-term values from your short-term emotion. The pause also strengthens your confidence. Because the more often you pause and respond with clarity, the more you trust yourself. You know you won't be the person who lashes out, shuts down, or acts impulsively. You know you have the ability to handle discomfort with maturity. That self-trust grows every time you interrupt a reaction and replace it with a thoughtful response. And there's something even more powerful that happens when you develop this pause. You begin to experience peace, not a peace that comes from silence or isolation, but a deep internal calm that stays with you in the middle of pressure. Because you're not at the mercy of everything that happens, you can let people say what they say without needing to fire back. You can let stress come without collapsing into it. You become unshakable, not because life got easier, but because you got better at handling it. People around you will notice too. They'll feel your presence. They'll see that you don't react like everyone else. You'll start to influence people, not by force but by example. You'll become someone others look to during tense moments. Your calm will set the tone. Your pause will give others space to think. You'll create a ripple effect, simply because you've trained your mind to stop, breathe, and respond with clarity. There's no shortcut to this skill. It requires daily practice. You train it by catching yourself in small moments, when someone interrupts you, when plans fall apart, when you feel triggered by a message or situation. Those moments are not setbacks, they're opportunities. They are your daily training ground. Each time you pause, even for a second, you build mental muscle, and over time, those seconds turn into a natural pattern of calm, clarity, and self-control. The world moves fast. People expect instant responses. Emotions rise quickly, but you don't have to live at that speed. You don't have to meet every energy that comes your way. You can slow down. You can choose. You can speak only when your words match your intention. You can act only when your action aligns with your values. That's not hesitation, it's discipline. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. Eventually the pause becomes part of who you are, not a tactic you use, but a way of thinking. You no longer rush to speak just to fill silence. You no longer explain yourself when it's not needed. You no longer give in to the pressure of being the first to respond. You learn the strength of waiting. You understand the impact of stillness, and you value your peace more than your pride. This kind of control doesn't just change your reactions, it changes your entire life. You start to see what really matters. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. You protect your mental space. You give your best self to the people who matter, and you walk through your days with more intention, less regret, and deeper clarity. So train the pause, practice it in private, so it becomes effortless in public. Practice it in small decisions, so it holds strong in big ones. Practice it when things are calm, so you can use it when things get loud. Your mind will try to pull you toward immediate reactions. That's the habit. That's the old wiring. But you can rewire it. You can build a new response. One that gives you space. One that gives you freedom. One that leads to better outcomes, stronger relationships, and a more peaceful life. You are not your first thought. You are not your first emotion. You are the awareness behind both. And the more you strengthen that awareness, the more power you have to shape the person you become. The pause gives you time to be intentional. It gives you time to be wise. It gives you time to be free. And in a world full of noise and reaction, that might be the greatest strength of all. Chapter 3. Choose your actions based on inner clarity daily. There is a moment every morning when you open your eyes and the day hasn't fully begun. In that space, you hold an invisible choice. You can step into your day reacting to whatever comes, pulled by noise, pressure, distraction, and habits that no longer serve you. Or you can move through your day with purpose, grounded in something deeper, your inner clarity, that quiet, steady voice within you that always knows what matters most. The challenge is not that you don't know what's right. The challenge is that you often ignore it in favor of what's easy, fast, or familiar. Choosing your actions based on inner clarity is not about doing what feels good in the moment. It's about doing what is right for your values, your growth, and your long-term peace. Inner clarity is not found in busyness. It's not something you stumble across while scrolling through your phone or rushing to answer every message. It's something you create by making space to listen. It requires stillness, not silence. It requires attention, not perfection. When you begin to center your life around clarity, everything shifts. You stop rushing into things that leave you empty. You stop agreeing to things that drain you. You stop trying to impress people who don't understand your path. You begin to move from intention instead of obligation. Every day is full of choices. What you eat, what you say, what you think, what you do with your time, and how you show up to each moment. If you don't bring clarity to those choices, the world will decide for you. And the world does not care about your peace. The world pushes urgency, distraction, comparison, and noise. If you want to live on your own terms, you have to slow down and ask yourself, what matters to me today? What kind of person do I want to be in the next hour? What decision will I be proud of at the end of the day? That kind of clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from knowing your values and aligning your actions with them, even in small ways. If you value health, you choose the food, the movement, the sleep, and the environment that supports it. If you value growth, you choose learning, reflection, and challenge over comfort and entertainment. If you value peace, you choose boundaries, mindfulness, and calm environments, even when they're not the easiest options. You are always choosing, even when you pretend you're not. Avoiding a decision is still a decision. Staying in a job that drains you is a decision. Saying yes to things you don't believe in is a decision. Staying silent when your voice matters is a decision. The question is whether your decisions are being guided by your inner compass or by pressure from the outside. Inner clarity means you stop outsourcing your choices to fear, to approval, to temporary emotions. You begin to lead your life from within. To choose your actions with clarity, you must be honest with yourself. That means being willing to see what's no longer working. Maybe you've been doing something because it's expected, not because it feels right. Maybe you've stayed in relationships or patterns because changing them feels uncomfortable. But clarity doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it shines a light on things you've been avoiding. And that's a good thing, because only when you see things clearly can you begin to move forward with strength. Clarity shows up in quiet ways. It's in the peaceful feeling you get when you say no to something that doesn't align with you. It's in the sense of alignment you feel when your actions match your intention. It's in the relief of letting go of what no longer fits your growth. The more you practice tuning in, the more natural it becomes to act from that space. You no longer second-guess yourself every time someone disagrees with your choice. You no longer feel guilty for doing what you know is right for you. Clarity isn't about having a perfect plan for your life. It's about being present with yourself enough to know what matters in each moment. It's about saying yes for the right reasons and walking away with peace when things are no longer aligned. It's about making choices that don't just make sense to others, but make sense to your values, your integrity, and your deeper purpose. One of the most powerful habits you can build is taking a moment before every important action to check in with yourself. Ask, is this aligned with who I want to become? Is this reaction coming from fear or wisdom? Is this opportunity supporting my long-term goals or distracting me from them? You don't need to spend hours thinking about it. A few seconds of honest awareness are enough to shift your direction. That's the difference between living on autopilot and living with intention. Many people go through the day in reaction mode. They're constantly responding to other people's agendas, urgent requests, emotional swings, and random distractions. Their mind is pulled in a dozen directions, and by the end of the day, they feel depleted, not because they did too much, but because they did too little of what mattered. When you choose your actions based on clarity, your energy becomes focused, your time becomes valuable, your presence becomes sharp. You no longer chase everything, you choose what matters, and you commit to it. This kind of clarity also requires discipline, because you will often be tempted to act from emotion, from habit, or from pressure. You will be tempted to respond quickly, to please others, to follow what looks good instead of what feels right. That's why clarity isn't just about knowing, it's about choosing. Knowing your truth is easy. Living it daily takes courage. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to disappoint others, sometimes in order to remain loyal to yourself. Over time you begin to experience the rewards. Your decisions become cleaner. Your mind becomes quieter. You waste less time on regret. You attract people and opportunities that align with your true self, and you walk through life with a steady confidence. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know you are moving in the right direction, day by day, action by action. Choosing your actions based on inner clarity is not about controlling everything. It's about controlling yourself. It's about knowing what matters to you and having the strength to follow it, even when life is messy. You can't control every situation, but you can always control the intention behind how you show up. You can bring clarity to your words, your effort, your relationships, your decisions. You can make space each morning, even for 5 minutes, to ask yourself what kind of energy you want to carry into your day. You can take one moment before each task to reconnect with your purpose. These are not dramatic changes, but they create a profound shift in how you live. The more you practice choosing from inner clarity, the less you need to force outcomes. You stop chasing things. You stop clinging to results. You start trusting the process. You start enjoying the present moment, knowing your actions are aligned with your deeper truth. That's where fulfillment lives. Not in having everything, but in knowing you're living from a place of honesty, strength, and intention. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to start. You don't need to have every answer. You just need to begin now with the next decision. Ask yourself what matters most to you right now. Then act in alignment with it. Do it again tomorrow and the next day. That's how you build a life that makes sense from the inside out. That's how you become someone who moves through the world with purpose, not pressure. And that's how you create peace, not by avoiding chaos, but by choosing clarity, one decision at a time. Chapter 4. Build emotional distance from things you cannot control. There comes a time when you realize that trying to control everything around you is not strength, it's stress. The more you hold on to what is outside your control, the more exhausted you feel. Life has its own pace, its own flow, and often its own agenda. No matter how hard you try, you cannot force people to change, outcomes to align perfectly, or the world to meet your expectations. But what you can do is build emotional distance from the things that are not in your hands. That distance is not indifference, it's freedom. It's the space between what happens and how deeply you let it affect your peace. Most of the pain people carry is not from what happened, it's from their attachment to how it should have been. Someone didn't treat you right and you replay it over and over. Plans didn't go your way and you fight the outcome in your head. You wanted life to unfold differently and you resist what's already in motion. This internal resistance doesn't fix anything, it only drains your energy and clouds your judgment. When you stop trying to control what you can't influence, you get your power back, because now your energy is focused on what you can actually shape: your mindset, your actions, your boundaries, and your response. You will face many moments in life where people disappoint you, situations change without warning, and outcomes fall apart despite your best efforts. In those moments, it's easy to internalize everything. You start thinking you did something wrong. You start trying harder to fix things that aren't yours to fix. But not everything that breaks needs to be repaired by you. Not every situation needs your emotional involvement. Some things are best left to time, to distance, to quiet observation. The sooner you learn to step back emotionally, the more clearly you'll see the truth. Emotional distance is not about becoming cold. It's about protecting your peace. It's about choosing where your energy goes. It's about realizing that you don't need to invest your emotions into everything that bothers you. Some things are simply not worth your stress. You can acknowledge a problem without letting it consume you. You can care about people without carrying their burden. You can be present without being overwhelmed. That's not detachment, it's maturity. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is this within my control? If the answer is no, then your work is to release your emotional attachment to the outcome. Worrying will not change it. Overthinking will not change it. Trying to manipulate every detail will not change it. What will change it is shifting your focus inward and acting from a place of strength. The more you focus on what you can control, the more balanced and steady your life becomes. People will behave however they choose. You cannot force someone to grow, to respect you, or to understand your perspective. You can express yourself clearly. You can set boundaries, but you cannot control their response. And when you try, you lose yourself. You start bending, over-explaining, apologizing for things that aren't yours. That's when resentment builds. That's when confusion sets in. But when you build emotional distance, you can still care without being controlled. You can still be kind without being taken advantage of. You stay rooted in who you are, regardless of how others show up. Building emotional distance also means knowing when to step back from situations that drain you. Not everything requires your opinion. Not every conflict needs your involvement. Not every issue is yours to solve. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply let go. Not because you don't care, but because your peace matters more than your need to control. The truth is, the more emotional energy you give to things outside your control, the less you have for your own growth, your goals, and your well-being. Every time you catch yourself obsessing over something you can't change, use that moment as a signal to redirect your focus. Ask yourself what you can do right now that would serve your peace. Maybe it's stepping away for a walk. Maybe it's journaling your thoughts to release them. Maybe it's saying nothing when you usually feel the need to argue. Those small shifts add up. They teach your mind that you are not at the mercy of the outside world. You are not powerless. You are simply choosing a better way. The need to control comes from fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of loss, fear of being hurt. But the truth is, trying to control everything doesn't protect you from pain. It just delays your ability to deal with it. Pain is a part of life. Discomfort is inevitable. But suffering comes from attachment, from holding too tightly to things that were never yours to manage. The more you let go, the lighter you become. And with that lightness comes clarity, and with clarity comes better choices. Some days you'll get it right. You'll walk away from the chaos, stay grounded in your peace, and focus on your priorities. Other days you'll get pulled in. You'll react, you'll overthink, you'll feel emotionally heavy. That's okay. The point is not perfection. The point is progress. Every time you catch yourself and step back, you're building a new habit. A habit of inner strength, a habit of emotional balance, a habit of choosing peace over control. There is also great strength in learning to accept that some answers may never come. Some people may never apologize. Some situations may never resolve the way you wanted. And that's not a reflection of your worth. That's just life being life. What matters is that you don't let unresolved situations steal your future peace. You learn to move forward without closure. You learn to be okay without needing every loose end tied up. That kind of emotional distance is what allows you to heal and grow, even when things don't make perfect sense. The more emotionally distant you become from what you can't change, the more energy you free up for what you can. You can invest in your health, your learning, your creativity, your relationships, and your growth. You stop living in reaction, and you start living with direction. You don't wake up dreading what might go wrong. You wake up focused on what you can do right. That shift transforms not just your mood, but your entire life trajectory. You are not obligated to respond to every disruption. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to fix what others broke. The more you learn to let things pass through you, instead of getting stuck inside you, the stronger you become. There is real power in restraint, in letting go, in choosing to focus on what builds you instead of what drains you. That power is not loud, but it is steady, and over time it changes the way you move through the world. You begin to feel lighter, you laugh more, you worry less. You stop giving energy to things that never deserved your focus in the first place. And you begin to protect your space, like something sacred, because it is. Your emotional health is not something to gamble with. It's something to guard, to prioritize, and to honor. This doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop being owned by every emotion that arises. You let things touch you, but not break you. You let people show you who they are without letting it ruin your peace. You learn to step back, breathe, and decide what is worth your emotional attention. And that decision, repeated day after day, becomes your strength. Not by accident, but by choice. Chapter 5. Strengthen your self-worth through quiet self-reflection. True strength comes quietly. It is born in moments of stillness when the noise fades, and you face yourself without excuses or distractions. Strengthening your self-worth does not require grand gestures or loud affirmations. It requires the willingness to look inward with honesty and compassion. Self-worth is not something you earn by achievements or external approval. It is an inherent value you must claim for yourself, often through deliberate, quiet reflection. Without this internal foundation, all the success and praise in the world can feel hollow. But when you build your worth from within, you stand on unshakable ground regardless of life's ups and downs. Quiet self-reflection is the practice of turning your attention inward without judgment. It's a moment where you step away from the endless demands of the world and ask yourself, who am I beyond what I do or what others say about me? What are my true strengths and weaknesses? What are my deepest values? When you face these questions regularly, you begin to reclaim your identity from the opinions, roles, and stories that have shaped you unconsciously. This process reveals the unique person you are at your core, valuable, worthy, and enough just as you are. Many people confuse self-worth with self-esteem, but they are different. Self-esteem often depends on external factors like success, appearance, or social approval. When those things fluctuate, self-esteem wavers. Self-worth is steady. It remains constant even when life challenges you. Developing this kind of worth requires quiet reflection because it cannot be built in noise or distraction. You need time to listen deeply to your inner voice and recognize the truth beneath fears and doubts. Reflection allows you to see your past experiences in a new light. It helps you recognize how much you have overcome, what lessons you have learned, and how your resilience has grown. You realize that your worth is not diminished by mistakes or failures. Instead, those moments have shaped your strength and wisdom. This understanding frees you from the trap of perfectionism and self-criticism. You start to treat yourself with the same kindness you offer to others. A powerful part of this practice is recognizing your boundary. When you know your worth, you understand that you don't have to accept disrespect or overextend yourself to prove value. Reflection helps you identify where you feel drained or taken for granted. It encourages you to protect your time, energy, and emotional space. Strengthening self-worth means saying no when necessary and choosing relationships and environments that honor you. Consistency is key. Quiet reflection is not a one-time activity, but a daily habit. Even a few minutes each day can shift your mindset profoundly. Journaling is one practical way to engage in this practice. Writing down your thoughts helps you organize your feelings, uncover hidden beliefs, and clarify your values. You don't have to write perfectly or have all the answers. The act of putting pen to paper brings clarity and reinforces your inner dialogue. Meditation and mindfulness also nurture self-worth by training your mind to be present and non-judgmental. When you observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them, you begin to realize that negative self-talk is just noise, not truth. You create space between your thoughts and your identity. This distance allows you to choose which beliefs to hold on to and which to release. Over time, you cultivate a gentler, more accepting relationship with yourself. The benefits of strengthened self-worth ripple through every part of your life. You become less reactive to criticism because you don't base your value on others' opinions. You take risks with more confidence, knowing that failure won't define you. You communicate your needs clearly and assertively because you respect yourself enough to ask for what you deserve. Your relationships improve because you attract people who value you as much as you value yourself. Self-reflection also reveals the parts of yourself that need healing. It's not about avoiding pain, but facing it with courage. You may discover unresolved hurts or limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck. This awareness is the first step toward transformation. When you hold your pain with compassion instead of judgment, you start to release its hold over your self-worth. Healing becomes a natural part of your growth journey. Remember, your worth is not a destination, but a continual process. Life will challenge your sense of value in unexpected ways. You might face rejection, failure, or loss. In those moments, your commitment to quiet self-reflection serves as an anchor. It reminds you who you are beyond the temporary storms. It grounds you in the understanding that your value is inherent and unchangeable. This practice also deepens your empathy for others. As you learn to accept yourself fully, flaws and all, you become less judgmental and more compassionate toward those around you. You recognize that everyone struggles with self-worth in their own way. This empathy strengthens your connections and creates a foundation of mutual respect. The path to stronger self-worth requires patience. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when negative thoughts feel loud. That is natural. What matters is your commitment to return to quiet reflection, to keep asking yourself the hard questions, and to keep reaffirming your inherent value. Over time, this steady practice rewires your mind and rewrites your story. You don't need to wait for external validation or achievements to feel worthy. Your worth exists now, waiting to be claimed in the quiet moments you give yourself each day. Start by simply sitting with yourself without distraction. Notice your thoughts, your feelings, and your inner voice. Ask yourself what you need to hear. Write it down if that helps. Repeat this daily, and watch how your relationship with yourself transforms. Strengthening your self-worth through quiet self-reflection is an act of love and courage. It is a commitment to honor yourself no matter what life throws your way. When you build this foundation, everything else becomes clearer and more manageable. Your emotions become less overwhelming, your decisions become more aligned, and your presence becomes more confident. This inner work is not easy, but it is the most rewarding journey you can take. Your peace, your power, and your purpose depend on it. Chapter 6. Develop calm responses to life's unexpected challenges. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Challenges arise suddenly, unexpected, and often unwelcome. These moments test not only our resources, but our inner stability. How you respond when life throws a curveball determines the quality of your experience and your ability to move forward. Developing calm responses to life's unexpected challenges is not about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about training yourself to meet difficulties with steadiness, clarity, and a steady heart. Calmness in the face of disruption begins with accepting that challenges are a natural part of life. Resisting or denying them only increases stress. Instead, acknowledge the situation honestly. When you do this, you stop fighting the reality and begin to conserve your energy for practical response. This acceptance does not mean resignation. It means understanding that some things are beyond your control and focusing on what you can influence. The next step is to cultivate awareness of your emotional reactions. Unexpected events often trigger immediate feelings like fear, anger, or frustration. These emotions are natural and valid, but they don't have to dictate your actions. When you notice your feelings rising, pause, take a breath, give yourself permission to feel without rushing to react. This pause creates a space between stimulus and response, a space where choice becomes possible. One effective practice is grounding yourself in the present moment. When challenges emerge, the mind can spiral into worst-case scenarios or replay past mistakes. Grounding techniques, such as feeling your feet on the floor, focusing on your breath, or observing your surroundings, anchor you in reality. They reduce overwhelm and sharpen your focus, allowing you to approach problems with a clearer mind. Another important element is reframing. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, see them as opportunities for growth and learning. This mental shift does not minimize difficulties, but changes your perspective on how to handle them. When you frame problems as temporary hurdles that build resilience, you naturally reduce anxiety and increase confidence in your ability to manage them. Preparation also plays a crucial role. While life is unpredictable, you can prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for challenges. Developing routines that build inner strength, such as meditation, regular exercise, or journaling, makes you more resilient when difficulties arise. These habits don't prevent problems, but they make you better equipped to handle them without losing your calm. Communication is another key factor. When you face unexpected issues involving others, staying calm helps maintain constructive dialogue. Speaking with a steady voice and clear intention prevents conflicts from escalating. It also models emotional regulation for those around you, creating a more supportive environment. Problem-solving skills improve when you're calm. Stress narrows thinking and reduces creativity. Calmness expands your mental capacity to see options, weigh pros and cons, and make better decisions. When emotions run high, step back and focus on facts instead of assumptions. This clarity leads to practical solutions rather than reactionary measures. Self-compassion is essential. Challenges can shake your confidence and trigger self-criticism. Remind yourself that facing difficulties is part of being human. Treat yourself with kindness rather than harsh judgment. This gentle attitude helps maintain your calm and prevents you from spiraling into negative thought patterns. Rest and recovery cannot be overlooked. Stressful moments drain your energy quickly. Prioritize rest, sleep, and activities that rejuvenate you. When your body and mind are well cared for, your capacity for calm responses increases significantly. Ignoring self-care leads to exhaustion, making calmness nearly impossible. Building calmness also involves accepting uncertainty. Life's unpredictability can trigger anxiety, but resisting uncertainty intensifies stress. Instead, practice embracing the unknown as a natural aspect of existence. Trust that you have the inner resources to face whatever comes. This trust is cultivated over time through experience and intentional practice. Recognize your triggers. Some situations or people may consistently challenge your calm. Awareness of these triggers allows you to develop strategies specific to them. Whether it's deep breathing, taking a short walk, or mentally repeating a calming phrase, having tools ready helps you maintain composure in the moment. Surround yourself with supportive influences. People who model calm behavior and encourage emotional regulation contribute to your growth. Distance yourself from those who thrive on chaos or emotional drama. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your response patterns. Celebrate small victories. Every time you handle a challenge calmly, you strengthen that habit. Acknowledge your progress and reinforce your confidence. Over time, this positive feedback loop makes calmness your default response rather than a rare achievement. Remember that developing calm responses is a journey, not an instant transformation. You will encounter setbacks and moments when stress feels overwhelming. That is natural. What matters is your commitment to continue practicing and learning. Each challenge faced with calmness builds resilience for the next. Ultimately, calmness in unexpected challenges leads to greater peace and control. It frees you from being a victim of circumstances and allows you to respond with intention. This way of living enhances your relationships, improves your health, and increases your overall satisfaction with life. You are not powerless in the face of difficulty. You have the capacity to cultivate calm that anchors you amid storms. This strength is available to you now. It grows with every conscious breath, every mindful pause, and every gentle reminder to yourself that you can meet life's challenges with grace. This calm is your steady companion, guiding you forward no matter what comes your way. Chapter 7. Practice silence when your emotions feel overpowering. When emotions surge beyond control, silence can be your greatest ally. In moments when anger, fear, sadness, or frustration threaten to overwhelm you, choosing to step back into quiet offers clarity and strength. Silence is not a sign of weakness or avoidance. It is an active, powerful choice that allows your mind and heart to settle before you respond. Instead of adding noise to noise, silence provides a space where you can reconnect with your inner calm and wisdom. The impulse to immediately express intense emotions often leads to regret. Words spoken in haste can damage relationships, reinforce negative feelings, or escalate conflicts. Practicing silence creates a pause, a deliberate break between feeling and reaction. This pause is a chance to observe your emotions without judgment and to decide how you want to respond, rather than reacting impulsively. Silence turns a reactive moment into a thoughtful one. This practice begins by recognizing when your emotions are building beyond your comfort level. Learn to identify the physical and mental signals that warn you of emotional overload. Your heart may race, your breath may quicken, or your thoughts may spiral. These signs are your internal alert system telling you to step back. When you notice them, intentionally create silence. This might mean taking a few deep breaths, stepping away from a conversation, or simply closing your eyes for a moment. Silence is a form of self-respect. It shows that you value your emotional well-being enough to pause rather than be swept away. It also signals to others that you are processing your feelings carefully. This can diffuse tension and create space for more meaningful communication later. When people see you handle strong emotions with calmness and quiet, it inspires respect and understanding. The power of silence is rooted in its ability to slow down time. Emotional overwhelm often feels like a fast-moving current pulling you under. Silence acts like a dam, giving you control over the flow. In this stillness, you can explore your feelings honestly, without trying to suppress or deny them. This honest encounter allows emotions to pass through you, rather than get stuck inside. In silence, you can also connect with deeper truths that noisy reactions often mask. Your mind might reveal underlying fears, unmet needs, or important insights that rushed responses miss. These revelations open the door to healing and growth. Silence becomes not just a refuge, but a source of strength and clarity. Practicing silence requires discipline. It's easy to default to speaking or reacting because it feels natural or because you want to be heard. But choosing silence is a skill that grows stronger with use. Start by integrating moments of quiet into your daily routine, during meals, walks, or before making decisions. Notice how these moments affect your emotional balance. Silence also encourages mindfulness. When your mind is quiet, you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings as they arise. This awareness reduces the power of emotional triggers and helps you respond more skillfully. Mindfulness and silence together build a resilient mind capable of facing emotional storms without losing composure. Some situations demand immediate silence more than others. When conflicts escalate, when you feel misunderstood, or when emotions run high, silence can prevent unnecessary harm. It gives all parties involved the chance to cool down and reflect. Returning to conversation after a pause often leads to more constructive outcomes. Remember that silence does not mean isolation. It is a way to honor your inner world, so you can engage with the outer world more authentically. When you practice silence regularly, you create a stable foundation that supports emotional health and effective communication. Your relationships deepen because your responses come from a place of presence and understanding, rather than reactivity. The benefits of silence extend beyond emotional regulation. It enhances creativity, problem-solving, and decision-making by clearing mental clutter. It reconnects you with your intuition and sense of purpose. The more you embrace silence, the more you discover its transformative power in all areas of life. Challenges will arise that test your commitment to practicing silence. You might feel pressured to defend yourself, prove a point, or release pent-up emotions. These impulses are natural. What matters is your ability to recognize them and choose silence despite the discomfort. This choice builds inner strength and self-mastery. In moments of intense emotion, silence is a sanctuary. It holds space for healing, reflection, and renewal. It reminds you that you are not your emotions, but the one who observes them. This distinction creates freedom. You begin to realize that you can experience strong feelings without being controlled by them. Silence is a skill that transforms how you relate to yourself and others. It teaches patience, empathy, and wisdom. It empowers you to face life's emotional challenges with grace and resilience. By practicing silence when emotions feel overpowering, you cultivate peace that endures beyond the storm. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you strengthen your ability to respond rather than react. You prove to yourself that you can withstand emotional pressure without losing balance. This ongoing practice reshapes your identity from someone driven by feelings to someone guided by clarity and calm. Silence also deepens your self-awareness. It uncovers hidden patterns, triggers, and beliefs that fuel emotional reaction. With this knowledge, you can intentionally shift your responses and build healthier habits. Silence becomes a powerful tool for personal transformation. You do not need special conditions or settings to practice silence. It is available anytime you choose. Even a few seconds of quiet amidst chaos can create a meaningful difference. Over time, these moments accumulate, rewiring your brain and calming your nervous system. Choosing silence is an act of courage. It means resisting the urge for immediate expression and embracing vulnerability. It requires trusting that your truth does not need to be rushed or shouted to be heard. This trust deepens your connection with yourself and others. Incorporate silence into your daily life by creating ritual. It might be a morning pause, a mindful breath before responding, or a quiet moment before sleep. These intentional practices anchor you in calmness and prepare you to handle emotional surges with ease. Silence is a form of strength that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. It protects your peace and enhances your presence. It is a steady companion that guides you through emotional turbulence with wisdom and grace. The journey to mastering silence when emotions rise is ongoing. There will be setbacks and moments of struggle. Embrace these as part of your growth. Each time you return to silence, you build resilience and deepen your self-control. Ultimately, silence transforms your relationship with emotions. It teaches you to listen deeply, respond thoughtfully, and live with greater balance. It frees you from the tyranny of impulsive reactions and invites you into a life led by calm intention. Practice silence consistently and watch how your emotional world shifts. You become less reactive and more reflective. You move through life with a quiet confidence that nothing outside can easily shake. This calm strength is your foundation for lasting emotional mastery. Chapter 8. Detach from other people's opinions and negative energy. Other people's opinions and negative energy can easily cloud your mind and disturb your inner peace. When you constantly seek approval or react to criticism, you give away your power. Detaching from these external forces is not about becoming indifferent or rude. It's about reclaiming control over your own emotional landscape and protecting your well-being. This detachment is an essential skill for anyone who wants to live with clarity, confidence, and calm. The first step toward detachment is recognizing the impact that others' judgments have on you. Often, people react unconsciously to criticism or praise because they tie their self-worth to external validation. This habit keeps you vulnerable and dependent on opinions that can shift unpredictably. When you understand this dynamic, you begin to see the futility of living under the constant influence of others' views. Detaching does not mean ignoring feedback or refusing to grow. It means filtering what you hear through the lens of your own values and truth. Constructive criticism, for example, can be valuable when it aligns with your goals and intentions. Negative energy from others, however, is often a reflection of their own struggles and not a measure of your worth. Learning to differentiate between these is key to emotional freedom. One practical way to detach is to create mental boundaries. Imagine your mind as a safe space where only what you allow can enter. When you receive negative opinions or energy, consciously decide whether to let them in or shut the door. This choice requires practice, but becomes easier as you build awareness. The more you protect your mental space, the less reactive you become. Distance yourself physically and emotionally from toxic environments and people. Spending time with individuals who constantly criticize or drain you undermines your emotional health. You don't need to cut ties abruptly, but setting limits on exposure is crucial. Prioritize relationships that uplift and support your growth instead of those that bring negativity. Detach by focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. You cannot change how others think or speak, but you can change how you respond. When faced with judgment, remind yourself that their opinion is just that, an opinion, not a fact. This reminder weakens the power their words hold over you. Practice affirmations that reinforce your self-worth independent of others' views. Statements like, "I am enough as I am," or "My value is not defined by others," help rewire your mindset. Repeat these affirmations regularly, especially when you notice yourself seeking approval or feeling affected by criticism. Develop mindfulness to observe your reactions without becoming entangled in them. When negative energy arises, notice it without judgment and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. This practice builds emotional resilience and prevents negativity from taking root in your mind. Recognize that negative opinions often stem from fear, jealousy, or misunderstanding in others. Their words reflect their own limitations, not your reality. Understanding this allows you to respond with compassion rather than defensiveness, further diminishing their emotional impact. Focus on your purpose and goals. When you are clear about what matters to you, other people's opinions lose significance. Your commitment to your path becomes your anchor, guiding you through distractions and doubts that external voices may stir. Limit your exposure to social media and news that amplify negative energy. Constant bombardment with opinions, many of which are harsh or unrealistic, can erode your peace. Choose carefully what you consume and how much time you spend in these spaces. Surround yourself with positive influences. Engage with people who inspire, encourage, and respect you. Their energy will strengthen your resolve to stay detached from negativity and maintain a healthy mindset. Practice gratitude daily. Focusing on what you appreciate shifts your attention away from negative judgments and builds emotional abundance. Gratitude reminds you of the good in your life and within yourself, reinforcing your inner strength. Remember that detachment is a process, not an instant change. There will be moments when others' opinions still affect you. Treat these moments as opportunities to learn and grow. Each time you choose detachment, you strengthen your emotional muscles. When you detach from negative energy, you create space for peace, creativity, and growth. You free yourself from unnecessary suffering caused by trying to please everyone or battling criticism. This freedom empowers you to live authentically and courageously. Recognize your achievements and qualities regularly. Celebrate your progress and remind yourself of your unique value. This positive reinforcement builds confidence and makes you less vulnerable to external negativity. Use visualization to strengthen detachment. Imagine yourself surrounded by a protective light that blocks harmful energy and lets in only positivity. Visualize your mental boundaries as firm but flexible shields that keep you safe. Cultivate patience and kindness toward yourself during this journey. Detachment can feel uncomfortable at times because it challenges old habits. Be gentle as you practice new ways of relating to others and yourself. Detach not to isolate, but to preserve your peace, so you can engage fully and healthily. This balance allows you to be present with others without losing your center or sense of self. Understand that your worth is intrinsic. No opinion, no matter how loud or persistent, can change your true value. Holding this truth firmly anchors you in detachment. Commit to daily practices that reinforce your emotional independence. Whether it's journaling, meditation, or affirmations, consistent effort builds lasting change. Trust yourself to know what is best for your well-being. Your intuition is a powerful guide that helps you navigate when to engage and when to let go. Detaching from others' opinions and negative energy is an act of self-respect and empowerment. It protects your mental health, nurtures your growth, and opens the door to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. With each step toward detachment, you reclaim your freedom and deepen your connection to your authentic self. This journey transforms not just how you relate to others, but how you live fully and fearlessly. Chapter 9. Create a morning routine that builds mental discipline. Starting your day with intention creates the foundation for mental discipline that shapes every moment thereafter. A morning routine is not simply about waking up early or completing tasks. It is a deliberate set of actions designed to prepare your mind for focus, resilience, and clarity throughout the day. Building mental discipline begins the moment you open your eyes and choose to take control of your thoughts, emotions, and energy rather than letting them control you. The power of a consistent morning practice lies in its ability to train your mind daily to prioritize what matters most. The first step in creating this routine is waking up with purpose. Instead of hitting snooze or jumping into distractions, pause briefly to set an intention for the day. This intention could be as simple as deciding to stay calm in challenges or committing to focused work. Stating your intention activates your mind's ability to align thoughts and actions with a clear goal. It sets a tone of discipline before any external demands pull at your attention. Incorporating mindfulness into your morning routine deepens mental discipline. Even a few minutes of focused breathing or meditation trains your brain to observe thoughts without judgment and return to the present moment. This practice strengthens self-control by interrupting habitual reactive patterns. Over time, mindfulness builds a quiet inner strength that helps you navigate stress and distractions with ease. Physical movement also supports mental discipline. Whether it's stretching, yoga, or light exercise, moving your body in the morning stimulates circulation and releases tension. Physical activity improves cognitive function and primes your mind for concentration. Assessing this habit signals to your brain that you are ready to engage with the day's challenges intentionally and energetically. A deliberate morning routine includes nourishing your body with healthy habits, drinking water, eating a balanced breakfast, and avoiding excessive caffeine or sugar creates steady energy levels that prevent mental fatigue. When your body is well fueled, your mind operates more clearly and with greater endurance. Discipline extends beyond mental effort to caring for the vessel that carries you through each day. Planning your day ahead sharpens focus and reduces overwhelm. Taking a few minutes to review your priorities and set achievable goals directs your mental energy toward meaningful action. This preparation minimizes decision fatigue and helps prevent procrastination. Mental discipline grows when you have a roadmap and a clear understanding of what success looks like for the day. Limiting exposure to digital distractions early in the morning protects your mental clarity. Avoid checking emails, social media, or news as soon as you wake up. These inputs often provoke reactive emotions and scatter your attention. Instead, reserve the first hour for your intentional routine. This boundary strengthens your ability to control your focus rather than be controlled by external stimuli. Journaling is a powerful addition to a morning routine aimed at mental discipline. Writing down thoughts, goals, or reflections helps organize your mind and release mental clutter. This practice clarifies your intentions and tracks your progress over time. Journaling also provides a private space to acknowledge challenges and reinforce your commitment to growth. Affirmations are another tool to cultivate mental discipline. Repeating positive statements about your strength, focus, and resilience reprograms negative self-talk. Affirmations empower you to face obstacles with confidence and calm. Incorporate them into your routine to remind yourself daily of your capacity to stay disciplined regardless of circumstances. Consistency is the cornerstone of any effective morning routine. The benefits multiply when you practice these habits daily, even when motivation wanes. Discipline grows not from occasional effort, but from steady, repeated action. Setting a specific wake-up time and sticking to it, even on weekends, trains your body and mind to anticipate focus and readiness. Adjust your routine to fit your unique needs and preferences. Mental discipline is personal, and what works for one may not work for another. Experiment with different activities, durations, and sequences until you find a flow that feels sustainable and energizing. The key is to maintain a routine that challenges your mind to develop focus without overwhelming you. Preparing the night before enhances the effectiveness of your morning routine. Organize your environment, set out materials, and plan your schedule to minimize friction upon waking. When fewer decisions await you in the morning, you conserve mental energy for discipline rather than logistics. Expect setbacks without judgment. Some mornings will be harder than others. Maybe you overslept, felt distracted, or skipped parts of your routine. These moments do not define your progress. Return to your practice with patience and commitment. Each day is a new opportunity to strengthen your mental habits. Observe how your morning routine transforms your day. Notice increased clarity, reduced stress, and improved productivity. Recognize that mental discipline developed in these early hours radiates outward, influencing your relationships, work, and well-being. This ripple effect motivates you to continue investing in your routine. Mental discipline is not about rigid control or perfection. It is about cultivating freedom, the freedom to choose your responses, to focus your attention, and to live according to your values. Your morning routine is the training ground for this freedom. The more you practice, the more automatic disciplined thinking becomes, allowing you to face any situation with composure. Celebrate small wins within your routine. Acknowledge the days you wake up on time, complete your meditation, or resist digital distractions. These achievements build momentum and reinforce your belief in your ability to maintain mental discipline. Over time, these small victories accumulate into profound transformation. Remember that mental discipline nurtures resilience. Life will challenge your focus and resolve with unexpected events and pressures. Your morning routine acts as a shield and a source of strength during these times. It anchors you in habits that preserve your peace and clarity even amid chaos. Engage your senses during your routine to deepen its impact. Notice the feeling of breath entering your lungs, the stretch of muscles, the taste of water or food. Sensory awareness grounds you in the present and enhances mindfulness. This embodiment of discipline connects mind and body, creating a holistic foundation for mental strength. Avoid multitasking during your morning practice. Give full attention to each activity, whether it is breathing, moving, or writing. Focused attention trains your brain to resist distractions and improves concentration. Quality over quantity is the principle that guides effective discipline. Incorporate moments of gratitude into your routine. Reflecting on what you appreciate sets a positive tone for the day and shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude supports mental discipline by fostering optimism and reducing negative thought patterns. Track your routine and its effects. Use a journal, app, or checklist to monitor your consistency and progress. Reflect on how your mental discipline improves over weeks and months. This awareness encourages accountability and motivates you to maintain your practice. Understand that mental discipline built through your morning routine is transferable. The focus, calm, and resilience you develop early in the day extend into all areas of life. Your ability to manage stress, make decisions, and maintain emotional balance strengthens as a result. Avoid comparing your routine to others. Mental discipline is deeply personal and evolves uniquely for everyone. Honor your pace and celebrate your individuality. The goal is progress, not perfection. Stay flexible and open to refining your routine. Life circumstances change, and your needs will shift. Adjust your practices to continue challenging your mind and supporting your growth. Flexibility within discipline creates sustainability. Use your morning routine as a daily commitment to yourself. This time is your opportunity to build the mental strength necessary for a purposeful and fulfilling life. Every disciplined choice made in the morning compounds into greater control, confidence, and clarity throughout your day. Embrace this routine with dedication, knowing that you are training your mind to serve you rather than control you. The mental discipline cultivated here is your foundation for lasting success and inner peace. Chapter 10. Set boundaries without guilt or emotional conflict. Setting boundaries is a vital skill that protects your well-being and nurtures healthy relationships. Many hesitate to establish limits out of fear of causing hurt or feeling guilty. Yet, boundaries are not barriers designed to isolate, but rather guidelines that define what is acceptable and what is not. Learning to set boundaries without guilt or emotional conflict means respecting yourself enough to prioritize your needs while communicating with kindness and clarity. This practice fosters mutual respect and prevents resentment from building inside. Understanding why guilt arises around boundaries is the first step toward overcoming it. Often, guilt stems from deeply ingrained beliefs about pleasing others or avoiding conflict. You may worry that saying no will disappoint people or damage your relationships. These fears can make it tempting to ignore your limits and sacrifice your comfort to keep the peace. Recognizing these patterns allows you to challenge them and choose differently. Boundaries begin with self-awareness. To set effective limits, clarify what you need to feel safe, respected, and balanced. Reflect on situations where you felt uncomfortable, overwhelmed, or taken advantage of. These feelings are signals that your boundaries are being crossed or ignored. Identify specific behaviors or demands that drain your energy or compromise your values. This clarity guides you in communicating your boundaries confidently. Expressing boundaries clearly and calmly reduces misunderstanding. Use straightforward language to explain your limits without apologizing excessively or over-explaining. For example, saying, "I need some quiet time in the evening to recharge," conveys your need directly and respectfully. Clear communication helps others understand your perspective and makes it easier for them to honor your requests. Practice saying no without feeling the need to justify yourself extensively. No explanation is required beyond your honest feelings and needs. Over time, you will realize that your reasons do not have to please everyone. Your well-being is a valid priority. Saying no respectively strengthens your self-respect and teaches others how to treat you. Anticipate resistance when setting boundaries. Some people may react with surprise, disappointment, or attempts to persuade you otherwise. Prepare mentally to stay firm without engaging in emotional debates. Remember that boundary setting is about your limits, not about controlling others' reaction. Maintaining your stance with calmness and consistency reinforces your commitment. Emotional conflict often arises when you internalize others' responses as personal attacks. Detach from the need for external validation when you enforce boundaries. Their feelings are their own responsibility. You can empathize with their reactions while still honoring your needs. This balance reduces guilt and prevents you from bending your boundaries to soothe others. Consider that healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect of boundary. When you set limits, you model self-care and encourage others to do the same. This transparency builds trust and reduces confusion. Boundaries clarify expectations and create safer spaces for connection. Reflect on the long-term benefits of boundary set. Protecting your energy and time allows you to show up fully for yourself and others. It prevents burnout and fosters emotional stability. Boundaries support your growth by enabling you to focus on what aligns with your values and goals. Use positive self-talk to combat guilt. Remind yourself that setting boundaries is an act of love toward yourself and others. You are not responsible for managing others' emotions at the expense of your health. Reinforce the belief that your needs deserve attention and care. Start setting small boundaries in low-stakes situations to build confidence. Practice declining extra tasks when overwhelmed or requesting personal space during busy times. These experiences strengthen your ability to handle more significant boundaries with ease. Visualize the outcome you desire from boundary setting: peaceful interactions, respect, and balanced relationships. This vision motivates you to persist through discomfort and emotional challenges. Focusing on the positive results shifts your mindset from fear to empowerment. Seek support if boundary setting feels especially difficult. Talking with trusted friends, mentors, or therapists can provide encouragement and strategies. Hearing others' experiences helps normalize challenges and offers practical advice. Remember that boundaries evolve over time. Your needs and circumstances change, and your limits may need adjustment. Regularly check in with yourself to assess whether your current boundaries serve you well. Flexibility within firmness ensures your boundaries remain relevant and effective. Avoid over-explaining or justifying boundaries with long stories or emotional appeals. Brevity communicates confidence and reduces opportunities for pushback. Trust that your simple statements carry weight when delivered with sincerity. Recognize that setting boundaries can improve your emotional health profoundly. It reduces anxiety, frustration, and feelings of helplessness. This relief frees mental space for creativity, joy, and meaningful engagement. Practice self-compassion throughout this process. Boundary setting may trigger old fears or insecurities. Treat yourself kindly when you encounter these emotions. Acknowledge progress rather than perfection. Balance firmness with kindness. Boundaries do not require harshness or coldness. Express your limits with empathy and respect for the other person's feelings. This approach fosters cooperation rather than conflict. Pay attention to your body's signals as you set boundaries. Physical sensations like tightness, discomfort, or exhaustion often indicate a need to assert limits. Listening to your body enhances your intuition and supports timely boundary setting. Establishing boundaries creates space for authentic connections. When people know and respect your limits, interactions become more honest and fulfilling. Boundaries eliminate misunderstandings and reduce emotional exhaustion. Stay consistent in enforcing boundaries. Inconsistency invites confusion and disrespect. When you clearly communicate and maintain your limits, others learn to respect them more readily. Develop phrases that feel natural and comfortable for you when setting boundaries. Having prepared language reduces anxiety and builds confidence. Customize your expressions to match your style and relationships. Recognize that guilt and emotional conflict decrease with practice. The more you set boundaries, the easier it becomes to do so without internal struggle. This growth builds resilience and reinforces your self-worth. Celebrate your courage in setting boundaries. Each time you honor your needs, you reinforce a positive cycle of self-care and respect. These moments accumulate, transforming your emotional health and relationships. Understand that setting boundaries is not selfish but necessary for sustainable well-being. It allows you to show up authentically and contribute fully without sacrificing yourself. Commit to making boundary setting a regular part of your life. This commitment honors your journey toward emotional freedom and stronger relationships. Each boundary you set strengthens your foundation for a balanced and empowered life. Chapter 11. Observe your triggers without letting them control you. Triggers are powerful signals that spark strong emotional reactions, often before we fully understand why. Learning to observe your triggers without allowing them to control your behavior is essential for emotional mastery. This skill transforms moments of vulnerability into opportunities for growth and self-awareness. Instead of being swept away by automatic responses, you gain the ability to pause, assess, and choose how to act in alignment with your true values. Recognizing your triggers requires honest self-reflection. Begin by paying attention to situations or people that consistently provoke intense feelings, such as anger, fear, anxiety, or sadness. These triggers often stem from past experiences or unresolved wounds that your mind associates with danger or threat. Identifying these patterns reveals areas within yourself that need healing and attention. Observation means stepping back from your immediate emotional response and viewing it with curiosity instead of judgment. When you notice a trigger activating, resist the urge to act impulsively. Instead, acknowledge the emotion internally by naming it, saying silently, "I am feeling anger," or "I notice anxiety rising," creates distance between you and the emotion. This space interrupts the automatic reaction and opens a window for choice. Cultivating this awareness takes practice and patience. At first, you may find it challenging to pause and observe because emotions can feel overwhelming. Using breathing techniques helps calm your nervous system and anchors you in the present. Deep, slow breaths reduce the intensity of feelings, making it easier to watch them without being consumed. Journaling your experiences with triggers deepens your understanding. Write down what happened, how you felt, and how you responded. Over time, patterns emerge, and you can track progress in how your reactions evolve. This record offers insights into which triggers are most potent and what strategies help you regain control. Avoid blaming yourself for having triggers. Everyone carries emotional sensitivities shaped by their unique history. The goal is not to eliminate triggers, but to transform your relationship with them. By observing rather than reacting, you shift from victim to empowered observer. This shift builds resilience and emotional strength. When you catch yourself reacting to a trigger, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge that it is natural to feel vulnerable and that change takes time. Replace harsh self-criticism with supportive thoughts such as, "It's okay to feel this way," or "I am learning to respond differently." This kindness encourages continued growth rather than discouragement. Mindfulness meditation is a powerful tool to enhance your ability to observe triggers. Regular practice trains your mind to notice thoughts and feelings as passing phenomena rather than fixed realities. This perspective reduces the power triggers hold and increases your emotional flexibility. Set boundaries around environments or relationships that frequently provoke overwhelming triggers until you develop stronger control. Protecting your emotional space supports healing and growth. Gradually, as you build skills, you can re-engage with these challenges with greater confidence. Consider how your body reacts to triggers. Physical sensations such as tension, rapid heartbeat, or tightness signal emotional activation. By tuning into these bodily cues early, you can intervene before emotions escalate. Techniques like progressive muscle relaxation or grounding exercises help release physical tension and calm your nervous system. Responding thoughtfully to triggers means choosing actions aligned with your values rather than impulsive behaviors. For example, instead of lashing out in anger, you might choose to step away, breathe, and return with a calm conversation. This deliberate response fosters healthier relationships and personal peace. Develop a list of go-to strategies for managing triggers. These might include deep breathing, visualization, walking, or talking to a trusted friend. Having practical tools ready helps you regain control quickly when emotions surge. Reflect on the lessons each trigger presents. Triggers often reveal unmet needs or fears that require attention. Exploring these underlying issues deepens self-understanding and opens pathways for healing. Embrace triggers as teachers, guiding you toward wholeness. Avoid suppressing or denying your emotions in response to triggers. Suppression often intensifies feelings and causes them to resurface unexpectedly. Instead, acknowledge your emotions fully, then choose how to express or manage them constructively. Recognize that triggers may change over time as you grow. What once caused intense distress may lose its power as you develop new perspectives and coping skills. Celebrate these milestones as evidence of your emotional evolution. Practice visualization techniques to prepare for anticipated triggers. Imagine yourself encountering a challenging situation with calmness and control. Rehearsing responses mentally builds confidence and reduces anxiety when real-life triggers arise. Engage in regular self-care practices to strengthen your emotional resilience. Adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, physical activity and relaxation support your nervous system, making it easier to manage triggers without becoming overwhelmed. Seek professional support if triggers stem from deep trauma or cause significant distress. Therapy provides a safe space to explore and heal underlying wounds and develop personalized coping strategies. Share your experiences with trusted individuals. Opening up reduces isolation and fosters understanding. Supportive relationships buffer the impact of triggers and encourage your growth. Celebrate progress no matter how small. Each moment you observe a trigger without reacting reinforces your ability to choose peace over chaos. Acknowledge your efforts and remain committed to this lifelong practice. Ultimately, observing your triggers without surrendering control empowers you to live with greater freedom and authenticity. You reclaim your emotional center and navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. This mastery transforms not only your internal world, but also your connections with others, leading to deeper harmony and fulfillment. Chapter 12. Respond with logic instead of emotional reactions. Always. Responding with logic instead of reacting emotionally is a powerful habit that changes the course of your life. Emotions are essential signals that connect us to our experiences, but when left unchecked, they can cloud judgment and lead to decisions that cause regret. Logic provides a clear, calm framework that helps you assess situations objectively and respond in ways that align with your values and goals. Cultivating this skill is a form of mental discipline that strengthens your resilience and improves your relationships. The first step is recognizing the difference between feeling and reacting. Feeling emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness is natural and unavoidable. Reacting emotionally, however, means allowing these feelings to dictate your actions impulsively. Developing the ability to pause and engage your logical mind before responding creates a valuable space for choice. Pause when emotions rise. When you notice a surge of feelings, take a moment to breathe deeply and slow your mind. This pause interrupts the automatic pathway from emotion to reaction. It gives your brain time to assess the facts and consider consequences. Even a few seconds of conscious breathing can shift your response from impulsive to deliberate. Ask yourself key questions before reacting. What is the truth of this situation? What outcome do I want? How will my response affect me and others? These questions guide your thinking toward clarity and purpose. They help you detach from emotional biases that might exaggerate or distort reality. Practice separating facts from interpretation. Often, emotional reactions are fueled by assumptions or stories we tell ourselves, rather than objective facts. For example, if someone is late to a meeting, the fact is the delay happened. An emotional reaction might be to assume disrespect or negligence. Logic invites you to consider alternative explanations and remain open-minded. Develop empathy without losing logic. Understanding others' perspectives does not mean accepting harmful behavior or sacrificing your boundaries. Instead, it means appreciating complexity and responding with calm reason. Empathy softens judgment and opens possibilities for constructive dialogue. Strengthen your logical thinking through learning and reflection. Engage with books, discussions, and exercises that challenge your reasoning skills. The more you exercise your rational mind, the more natural it becomes to apply logic under pressure. This growth supports emotional balance and decision-making. Create mental habits that support logical responses. Use mantras such as pause and think, or focus on solutions. Repeating these phrases in moments of stress reinforces your commitment to responding thoughtfully rather than reactively. Set clear priorities and values to anchor your logic. When you know what matters most to you, it becomes easier to evaluate situations through that lens. Decisions guided by core principles are more consistent and satisfying. Avoid all or nothing thinking. Logic encourages nuance and complexity rather than extreme conclusion. Recognize that situations often contain multiple truths and options. Embracing this complexity prevents rigid reactions and fosters flexibility. Seek feedback from trusted individuals who model calm, logical responses. Observe how they handle conflict or stress and incorporate their strategies into your own approach. Learning from others provides practical examples and encouragement. Practice mindfulness to stay present and aware of your thoughts and feelings. Mindfulness enhances your ability to catch emotional reactions early and shift toward logic. This awareness strengthens mental control and emotional intelligence. Use journaling to analyze situations where emotional reactions occurred. Write about what triggered you, how you responded, and how logic could have changed the outcome. This reflection deepens self-understanding and prepares you for future challenges. Develop problem-solving skills. Logical responses often involve identifying solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Approach difficulties as puzzles to solve rather than threats to avoid. This mindset empowers action and reduces anxiety. Manage stress to support logical thinking. High stress impairs cognitive function and increases impulsivity. Incorporate relaxation techniques, exercise, and healthy habits to maintain mental clarity. A calm mind is more capable of reasoned responses. Avoid decision fatigue by simplifying choices when possible. Too many options can overwhelm the mind and increase emotional reactivity. Streamline routines and prioritize the important decisions to conserve mental energy for critical moments. Recognize when emotional reactions serve a purpose, such as signaling boundaries or motivating change. In these cases, acknowledge the feeling but translate it into logical steps. For instance, anger about unfair treatment can become motivation to address the issue calmly and constructively. Practice assertive communication. Express your thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully, grounded in facts and logic. This approach promotes understanding and reduces conflict caused by emotional outbursts. Maintain humility and openness to new information. Logic requires flexibility and willingness to revise opinion. Avoid rigid attachment to beliefs that fuel emotional defensiveness. Intellectual humility fosters growth and better decision-making. Visualize challenging scenarios and rehearse logical responses. Mental preparation builds confidence and reduces anxiety in real situations. Imagining yourself staying calm and rational strengthens neural pathways that support this behavior. Celebrate successes in responding logically. Each time you choose reason over impulse, reinforce your progress with positive self-recognition. This encouragement motivates ongoing development and resilience. Avoid suppressing emotions in favor of logic. Healthy emotional processing complements rational thinking. The goal is integration, acknowledging feelings while choosing responses aligned with your long-term well-being. Develop patience with yourself during this process. Changing ingrained reaction patterns takes time and consistent effort. View setbacks as learning opportunities rather than failures. Understand that responding with logic does not mean detachment or coldness. It means engaging with situations fully but from a place of calm and clarity. This balance enhances relationships and personal effectiveness. Commit to lifelong practice of observing emotions and choosing logical action. This commitment strengthens your capacity to navigate life's complexities with wisdom and grace. Responding logically empowers you to live intentionally and with integrity. It frees you from being a prisoner of fleeting feelings and enables thoughtful, constructive engagement with the world. This mastery elevates your personal growth and enriches every interaction you have. Chapter 13. Focus on growth, not approval, in every interaction. Focusing on growth, instead of approval in every interaction, transforms how you relate to yourself and others. When the desire for external validation dominates your mindset, you risk losing sight of your authentic path. Seeking approval can lead to people-pleasing, fear of criticism, and sacrificing your values. Shifting your focus toward personal growth shifts the power back to you and fosters genuine progress in all areas of life. The first step is recognizing when approval seeking arises. Notice feelings of anxiety, hesitation, or discomfort when you worry about how others perceive you. These moments highlight the influence of approval on your choices. Awareness creates the opportunity to change your response and prioritize growth. Growth requires embracing challenges and stepping outside your comfort zone. In interactions, this might mean expressing a different opinion, asking difficult questions, or setting boundaries. These actions may not always be met with approval, but they are essential for developing strength and clarity. Cultivating a growth mindset means viewing mistakes and criticism as opportunities to learn rather than threats to your worth. When feedback comes, assess it thoughtfully without defensive reactions. Ask yourself what insights you can gain to improve. This perspective reduces fear and increases resilience. Practice authenticity by sharing your true thoughts and feelings in conversations. Authenticity fosters deeper connections and self-respect. When you focus on being genuine rather than liked, you create space for meaningful dialogue and mutual understanding. Set clear personal goals for growth in your interaction. For example, aim to listen actively, communicate assertively, or remain calm under pressure. Having specific growth objectives guides your behavior and reduces the influence of approval-seeking impulses. Reflect regularly on your interactions to evaluate whether you acted from a desire for approval or growth. Journaling helps clarify patterns and reinforces your commitment to evolving. Celebrate moments when you chose growth even if it was uncomfortable. Build courage to face rejection or disapproval. Understand that not everyone will support your growth journey, and that is okay. Rejection does not diminish your value. It simply signals differences in perspective or readiness. Embrace these experiences as part of your development. Surround yourself with people who support growth rather than demand conformity. Seek relationships that encourage exploration, honesty, and learning. Positive influences provide encouragement and reduce the pressure to seek approval from those who do not align with your values. Develop inner validation practices. Affirm your worth and progress through self-compassion and positive self-talk. When your sense of value comes from within, external approval loses its grip. This internal foundation empowers you to pursue growth confidently. Manage the urge to compare yourself to others. Comparison often fuels approval seeking and dissatisfaction. Focus on your unique journey and celebrate your own progress. Growth is personal and cannot be measured by others' standards. Learn to say no without guilt when requests or expectations conflict with your growth goals. Saying no protects your time and energy and strengthens your boundaries. This practice reinforces your commitment to self-development over pleasing others. Engage in active listening during interactions. Focusing fully on others' perspectives enriches your understanding and supports your growth. Listening without the agenda of gaining approval creates more authentic connections. Practice gratitude for opportunities to grow through every interaction. Even difficult conversations offer lessons that expand your emotional intelligence and communication skills. Gratitude shifts your mindset from fear to appreciation. Challenge negative self-beliefs that link approval to worthiness. Replace thoughts like "I must be liked to be valued" with "I am worthy regardless of others' opinions." This cognitive shift underpins your ability to focus on growth. Embrace discomfort as a necessary companion to growth. Growth often requires facing uncertainty and vulnerability. Lean into these feelings instead of retreating to familiar approval-seeking patterns. Develop patience with your progress. Growth unfolds gradually through consistent effort and reflection. Avoid rushing or expecting immediate results. Persistence builds sustainable change. Use visualization to prepare for challenging interactions. Imagine responding with confidence and a focus on learning, rather than approval. Mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to embody growth-oriented behavior. Celebrate your courage to prioritize growth. Acknowledge each step you take toward authentic communication and self-improvement. Recognition fuels motivation and self-belief. Understand that focusing on growth enriches not only your life but also your relationships. Growth-oriented interactions foster trust, respect, and deeper connection. This positive cycle encourages continuous development for everyone involved. Commit to making growth your primary aim in all interactions. This commitment transforms ordinary exchanges into powerful opportunities for transformation. Over time, this focus cultivates a life marked by authenticity, resilience, and fulfillment. Chapter 14. Accept discomfort as a teacher, not a threat. Discomfort is often seen as something to avoid or escape, yet it holds incredible potential to become one of your greatest teachers. Learning to accept discomfort as a guide rather than a threat reshapes how you face challenges, setbacks, and changes in life. Instead of shrinking away from difficult feelings or situations, you begin to engage with them openly and learn valuable lessons that propel you forward. The first step is changing your mindset about discomfort. Rather than fearing it or resisting it, view discomfort as a signal that growth is occurring. When you encounter discomfort, it means you are stretching beyond familiar limits and entering new territory. This is where transformation happens. The discomfort you feel is not a punishment, but a natural part of evolving. Recognize that discomfort is temporary. Feelings of unease, pain, or uncertainty do not last forever. Like waves, they rise, crest, and recede. By accepting this impermanence, you create space to endure discomfort without becoming overwhelmed. This endurance strengthens your emotional resilience and builds confidence in your ability to handle life's difficulties. When discomfort arises, resist the urge to numb or distract yourself immediately. Instead, pause and turn your attention inward. Notice what the discomfort feels like physically and emotionally. Observing these sensations with curiosity rather than judgment transforms fear into awareness. This mindful presence is the foundation of learning from discomfort. Ask what discomfort is teaching you. It may reveal areas where you need to develop patience, courage, or self-compassion. Discomfort can uncover hidden fears or limiting beliefs that have held you back. By exploring these messages, you gain insight into your inner world and begin to release what no longer serves you. Discomfort often accompanies change, and change is essential for growth. When you resist change because it feels uncomfortable, you limit your potential. Accepting discomfort means embracing change as a natural and necessary process. This acceptance opens you to new possibilities and strengthens adaptability. Build daily practices that expose you gently to discomfort. This might include physical challenges, like exercise, learning new skills, or having difficult conversations. These experiences train your mind and body to tolerate and even welcome discomfort as a sign of progress. Cultivate self-compassion during uncomfortable times. Be gentle with yourself when discomfort feels intense or persistent. Acknowledge that growth is hard work and honor your efforts without harsh self-criticism. Compassion reduces the emotional weight of discomfort and encourages perseverance. Reframe setbacks and failures as valuable teachers. Discomfort from failure offers clues about what needs adjustment or learning. Instead of seeing failure as defeat, view it as feedback that guides your next steps. This shift reduces fear of failure and encourages experimentation. Practice gratitude for discomfort's role in your development. Thinking discomfort may seem unusual, but this gratitude shifts your perspective from resistance to acceptance. It empowers you to see difficulties as allies rather than enemies. Develop emotional regulation skills to manage discomfort more effectively. Techniques such as deep breathing, grounding, and visualization help soothe your nervous system when discomfort feels overwhelming. These tools increase your capacity to stay present and learn from challenging moments. Avoid suppressing or ignoring discomfort because this often intensifies it. Allowing discomfort to be felt and expressed in healthy ways prevents build-up and promotes healing. Express your feelings through journaling, art, or conversation to process and release tension. Set realistic expectations about discomfort. Growth is rarely comfortable or linear. Anticipate periods of difficulty and view them as part of the journey rather than signs of failure. This mindset prepares you to face challenges with steadiness. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage facing discomfort courageously. Sharing your struggles with trusted individuals provides validation and strength. Community lessens isolation and reinforces your commitment to growth. Visualize yourself navigating discomfort with calmness and strength. Mental rehearsal enhances your confidence and prepares you to respond wisely in real situations. Seeing yourself succeed builds positive momentum. Commit to learning from discomfort rather than avoiding it. This commitment transforms fear into curiosity and resistance into openness. Over time, you develop a relationship with discomfort that fuels your evolution rather than hinders it. Recognize that discomfort is a universal human experience. You are not alone in facing difficulties. This realization fosters humility and connection with others on similar journeys. Celebrate moments when you endure discomfort and emerge stronger. Acknowledge your courage and growth to motivate ongoing efforts. These celebrations reinforce the value of discomfort as a teacher. Understand that accepting discomfort improves all areas of life. It deepens your capacity for empathy, enhances creativity, and builds perseverance. This acceptance creates a foundation for lasting success and fulfillment. Practice patience as you build comfort with discomfort. Change is gradual, and each step forward matters. Patience nurtures persistence and reduces frustration. Release the need for certainty or control. Discomfort often arises from uncertainty. Embracing uncertainty as part of life's flow reduces anxiety and opens you to new experiences. Engage in regular self-reflection to integrate lessons from discomfort. Reflect on what each challenging experience taught you and how it shaped your growth. This reflection solidifies learning and prepares you for future challenges. Use affirmations that reinforce acceptance of discomfort, such as, "Discomfort leads to growth," or "I embrace challenges as opportunities." Repeating positive statements rewires your mindset and strengthens resolve. Maintain balance by caring for your physical, emotional, and mental health. A strong foundation supports your ability to tolerate and learn from discomfort. Prioritize rest, nutrition, and relaxation. Develop flexibility in your goals and plans. When discomfort signals a need to adjust course, be willing to adapt. Flexibility increases resilience and keeps you aligned with your true path. Avoid self-judgment for feeling discomfort. Emotional pain is not a flaw, but a sign of engagement with life's complexities. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Accepting discomfort as a teacher liberates you from fear and avoidance. It transforms hardship into opportunity and uncertainty into possibility. This mindset empowers you to live boldly and grow continuously, no matter what challenges arise. Chapter 15. Speak with intention instead of emotional impulse. Speaking with intention instead of emotional impulse is a vital skill that transforms how you communicate and connect with others. Words carry immense power. They can heal or hurt, build bridges or create barriers. When you speak impulsively, driven by emotion, you risk saying things that cause regret, misunderstanding, or conflict. Intention in speech means choosing your words thoughtfully to express your truth clearly and respectfully while honoring both yourself and others. The first step to speaking intentionally is becoming aware of your emotional state before you speak. Emotions like anger, fear, or frustration can distort your message and lead to reactions rather than responses. When you notice a surge of strong feelings, pause and take a few deep breaths. This simple action calms your nervous system and allows space for clarity to emerge. Listening to your inner dialogue before speaking helps you assess your true intentions. Ask yourself what you want to achieve with your words. Are you trying to resolve a problem, express a need, share a feeling, or defend yourself? Clarifying your purpose guides your choice of words and tone, preventing impulsive or reactive statements. Practice mindfulness in conversations by staying fully present. Avoid letting your mind race ahead to what you want to say or how others might react. Focus on the current moment, the words you are about to speak, and the impact they will have. This presence strengthens your ability to communicate thoughtfully. Choose words that reflect respect and honesty. Speaking with intention does not mean sugarcoating or hiding your feelings. It means expressing yourself authentically without aggression or blame. Use I statements to take ownership of your experience, such as, "I feel hurt when," instead of "you always." This approach fosters openness and reduces defensiveness. Develop a habit of pausing before responding, especially in emotionally charged situations. A brief pause lets you process your feelings and consider the most effective way to communicate. This pause can prevent regrettable outbursts and create space for more constructive dialogue. Observe how tone and body language affect the reception of your words. Speaking calmly and with steady eye contact conveys confidence and sincerity. Non-verbal cues support your intention and help others feel heard and respected. Practice clarity by organizing your thoughts before speaking. Avoid vague or ambiguous language that can cause confusion. Be concise and direct while maintaining kindness. Clear communication saves time and reduces misunderstanding. Learn to set boundaries verbally with intention. When saying no or expressing limits, use firm but polite language. For example, "I cannot take on this task right now" is clearer and more respectful than an emotional refusal or avoidance. Boundaries protect your well-being and foster mutual respect. Reflect on past conversations where emotional impulse led to negative outcomes. Identify triggers and patterns that cause impulsive speech. Awareness of these tendencies is the first step toward change. Build emotional intelligence to support intentional speaking. Understanding your emotions and those of others improves empathy and communication skills. Emotional intelligence helps you navigate difficult conversations with grace. Practice assertiveness to express your needs and opinions confidently without aggression. Assertive communication balances respect for yourself and others. It prevents resentment and promotes healthy interactions. Seek feedback from trusted individuals about your communication style. Honest input helps you refine your approach and identify blind spots. Constructive feedback encourages growth and greater effectiveness. Engage in role-playing exercises or rehearsals for challenging conversations. Practicing responses builds confidence and prepares you to maintain intention under pressure. Visualization also strengthens mental readiness. Use affirmations to reinforce your commitment to speaking with intention. Repeating phrases like "I communicate calmly and clearly" strengthens positive habits and mindset. Manage stress and fatigue as they impair communication skills. When overwhelmed, your ability to speak thoughtfully diminishes. Prioritize self-care to maintain mental clarity and emotional balance. Avoid multitasking during conversations. Giving your full attention demonstrates respect and improves comprehension. Focused listening enriches dialogue and supports intentional responses. Develop curiosity about others' perspectives instead of reacting defensively. Asking open-ended questions promotes understanding and collaboration. Curiosity softens emotional barriers and deepens connection. Keep a journal of your communication experiences. Write about what worked well and what could improve. This reflection fosters self-awareness and continuous learning. Recognize that mistakes are part of the learning process. If you speak impulsively and cause harm, take responsibility, apologize sincerely and commit to doing better. Accountability strengthens trust and integrity. Balance speaking and listening. Intentional communication is a dialogue, not a monologue. Valuing others' voices creates mutual respect and enriches relationships. Commit to lifelong practice of speaking with intention. This ongoing effort builds confidence, improves relationships, and enhances your influence. Intentional speech aligns your words with your highest values. Speaking with intention empowers you to express yourself authentically and constructively. It transforms conversations into opportunities for connection, understanding, and growth. This mastery elevates every interaction and deepens your sense of self-respect and peace. Chapter 16. Let go of needing to prove others wrong. Letting go of the need to prove others wrong is a profound step toward emotional freedom and personal growth. Often, the desire to be right stems from an unconscious attempt to protect our self-esteem or assert control. However, this need can drain energy, damage relationships, and keep us stuck in conflict. Releasing this urge frees you to focus on what truly matters: understanding, learning, and living authentically. Recognizing the impulse to prove others wrong is the first move. Notice when conversations shift from sharing ideas to defending your position fiercely. This shift often triggers frustration or agitation. Awareness of this dynamic creates the chance to change your approach. Understand that needing to prove yourself is often linked to fear. Fear of being dismissed, misunderstood, or undervalued. When you feel this fear, remind yourself that your worth is not dependent on others' approval or agreement. Your value is inherent and does not require validation. Accept that different perspectives can coexist without one being absolutely right or wrong. Reality is complex and subjective, shaped by individual experiences and beliefs. Embracing this complexity reduces the pressure to dominate conversations or win debates. Practice active listening with curiosity instead of judgment. Seek to understand the other person's viewpoint fully before responding. This openness cultivates empathy and shifts focus from confrontation to connection. Shift your goal from proving others wrong to seeking common ground or mutual understanding. This change in intention transforms interactions into opportunities for collaboration rather than conflict. Reflect on situations where insisting on being right cost you peace or relationships. Acknowledge the emotional and social toll of this pattern. Use these reflections as motivation to choose differently moving forward. Develop humility by recognizing that your knowledge and opinions are always evolving. Being open to new information and admitting when you don't have all the answers is a sign of strength, not weakness. Use self-talk to reinforce your commitment to releasing the need to prove others wrong. Phrases like, "I choose peace over being right," or "my worth is not tied to others' opinions," help reprogram your mindset. Create mental space between stimulus and response. When you feel triggered to argue or correct, pause and breathe. This pause interrupts reactive patterns and allows thoughtful choice. Focus on expressing your truth calmly and respectfully without insisting others accept it. Sharing your perspective is valuable regardless of agreement. Speaking from authenticity builds confidence and respect. Learn to let go of control over how others perceive you. You cannot change others' beliefs or reactions, only your own responses. This acceptance reduces frustration and increases serenity. Practice gratitude for diverse viewpoints. Different opinions challenge you to refine your thinking and grow intellectually. Viewing disagreement as a gift fosters openness. Build resilience to criticism and disagreement. When you don't need to prove others wrong, criticism loses its sting. Resilience strengthens your emotional well-being. Engage in regular self-reflection to track your progress in releasing this need. Journaling about interactions helps identify triggers and reinforces growth. Surround yourself with people who respect diverse perspectives and model respectful dialogue. Supportive relationships encourage healthy communication habits. Practice forgiveness toward yourself and others when conflicts arise. Holding on to grudges tied to being right prolongs suffering. Forgiveness frees you to move forward. Use visualization to imagine responding calmly without needing to prove a point. Mental rehearsal prepares you for real-life interactions. Set boundaries to disengage from unproductive arguments. Knowing when to step away preserves your energy and peace. Celebrate successes in letting go of this need. Acknowledge moments when you prioritized peace over proving a point. Positive reinforcement fuels continued progress. Recognize that letting go of needing to prove others wrong deepens your relationship. It creates space for authentic connection, trust, and mutual respect. Commit to embracing humility, curiosity, and acceptance as guiding principles. These qualities transform conflicts into opportunities for understanding and growth. Releasing the need to prove others wrong is a liberation that enhances every aspect of your life. It fosters emotional balance, strengthens connections, and aligns you with your highest self. This shift empowers you to live with greater peace, wisdom, and authenticity. Chapter 17. Reflect daily on how you handled your emotions. Taking time each day to reflect on how you handled your emotions is a powerful habit that nurtures self-awareness and growth. This practice deepens your understanding of emotional patterns, highlights areas for improvement, and reinforces progress. Reflection transforms experience into wisdom and strengthens your ability to navigate future challenges with greater ease. Begin by setting aside a few quiet moments daily, preferably at the end of your day, to look back on the emotions you experienced. Choose a calm environment where you can be honest with yourself without distractions or judgment. This intentional pause invites clarity and openness. Recall specific moments when emotions surface strongly. Consider situations that triggered frustration, sadness, joy, or anxiety. Bringing these experiences to mind allows you to examine how you responded and what influenced your reactions. Analyze your responses by asking yourself key questions. Did you notice the emotion early, or did it build unnoticed? Did you respond impulsively or with thoughtfulness? What thoughts or beliefs accompanied your feelings? These inquiries reveal the dynamics between your mind and emotions. Explore whether your reactions aligned with your values and goals. Reflecting on this alignment helps you assess whether your emotional responses support the person you want to become. When responses diverge from your values, note what contributed to this and how you might act differently next time. Acknowledge moments when you handled emotions well. Celebrating these successes reinforces positive habits and builds confidence. Recognize the skills you used, such as pausing before responding, practicing deep breathing, or reframing negative thoughts. Consider external factors that affected your emotional state. Was stress, fatigue, or environment influencing your mood? Understanding these influences helps you manage them proactively in the future to support emotional balance. Reflect on recurring emotional triggers. Identifying patterns enables you to prepare and develop strategies to respond more effectively. For example, if certain topics consistently provoke anger, you can plan calming techniques or communication approaches beforehand. Use journaling as a tool for reflection. Writing down your thoughts and feelings clarifies them and makes patterns more visible. Journals provide a safe space to express emotions freely and track your progress over time. Practice self-compassion during reflection. Avoid harsh judgment or criticism for difficult emotions or mistakes. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Compassion nurtures resilience and encourages ongoing effort. Ask what lessons each emotional experience offers. Discomfort can highlight unmet needs, boundaries crossed, or growth opportunities. Viewing emotions as messengers opens the door to learning and healing. Set intentions for how you want to handle emotions moving forward. Clear intentions guide your daily behavior and create accountability. For instance, you might commit to pausing before reacting or seeking support when overwhelmed. Incorporate mindfulness practices into your reflection. Observing emotions non-judgmentally enhances awareness and reduces impulsivity. Mindfulness strengthens your ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. Seek feedback from trusted individuals about your emotional responses. Honest perspectives provide valuable insights and help identify blind spots. Constructive input supports balanced self-assessment. Reflect on how your emotions affect your relationships. Consider whether your responses foster connection or create distance. Understanding this impact motivates you to cultivate emotional intelligence. Evaluate how well you balanced emotional expression with restraint. Expressing emotions authentically is important, but so is managing timing and manner to maintain harmony. Reflection helps you find this balance. Notice progress over time by comparing current reflections with past ones. Recognizing growth fuels motivation and highlights effective strategies. It also builds patience for gradual change. Develop a routine that includes emotional reflection as a non-negotiable part of self-care. Consistency transforms this practice into a habit that supports long-term well-being. Avoid overanalyzing or obsessing during reflection. The goal is awareness and learning, not self-criticism or rumination. Keep reflections focused and constructive. Use affirmations to reinforce your commitment to emotional growth. Phrases like "I learn and grow from my emotions" strengthen your mindset and resilience. Practice gratitude for the opportunity to engage with your emotions. Gratitude shifts perspective from struggle to appreciation and empowerment. Understand that emotional reflection is a lifelong journey. Each day brings new challenges and insights. Embrace this ongoing process with curiosity and dedication. Balance reflection with action. Use insights gained to adjust behaviors and cultivate healthier emotional habits. Reflection without action limits growth. Share your reflection practice with supportive others if comfortable. Discussing emotions openly fosters connection and accountability. Recognize the connection between physical health and emotional well-being. Ensure adequate sleep, nutrition, and exercise to support balanced emotions. Approach reflection with humility and openness. Be willing to learn and change without defensiveness. Commit to making daily emotional reflection a cornerstone of your personal development. This habit deepens your self-mastery and enriches every aspect of your life. By consistently reflecting on how you handle your emotions, you cultivate wisdom, resilience, and self-control. This ongoing practice empowers you to live with greater clarity, peace, and intentionality. Chapter 18. Choose long-term peace over short-term satisfaction. Choosing long-term peace over short-term satisfaction is a profound decision that shapes the quality of your life in powerful ways. Immediate pleasures and quick fixes often tempt you to act impulsively, but these choices can lead to regret, conflict, and inner turmoil. Prioritizing lasting peace requires discipline, foresight, and a commitment to values that sustain well-being beyond fleeting moments of gratification. Recognize the difference between short-term satisfaction and long-term peace. Short-term satisfaction offers immediate relief or pleasure, but often at a cost. It might be indulging in unhealthy habits, reacting emotionally to conflicts, or avoiding difficult decisions. These choices provide temporary comfort, but may sow seeds of future stress or harm. Long-term peace involves a deeper sense of calm, balance, and contentment that endures despite challenges. It grows from consistent choices aligned with your true priorities, even when those choices demand patience or restraint. Understanding this distinction helps you evaluate your actions more clearly. Begin by cultivating awareness of moments when you are tempted by short-term rewards. Notice impulses to react quickly for instant relief or approval. This awareness creates a pause where you can consider consequences rather than act automatically. Practice delaying gratification as a skill. When you feel the urge to seek quick satisfaction, take a step back, breathe deeply, and ask yourself if this choice supports your peace in the long run. This pause strengthens self-control and reduces impulsivity. Clarify your core values and life goals. When your actions align with these guiding principles, peace naturally follows. Reflect on what truly matters to you, whether it's health, relationships, integrity, or growth, and let these priorities guide your decisions. Build habits that nurture peace over time. Consistent practices such as meditation, exercise, mindful communication, and gratitude deepen your inner calm and resilience. These habits prepare you to face challenges without resorting to short-term escape. Learn to accept discomfort as part of growth. Sometimes choosing peace means facing difficult emotions or situations without avoidance. Embracing discomfort with courage prevents reactive behaviors that disrupt peace. Set boundaries to protect your energy and well-being. Saying no to demands or situations that drain you preserves your capacity for peace. Boundaries also reduce stress caused by overcommitment or toxic interactions. Develop patience with yourself and others. Long-term peace unfolds gradually through sustained effort. Impatience often leads to frustration and reactive choices. Cultivating patience supports steady progress. Reflect regularly on past decisions where you prioritized immediate satisfaction. Analyze the outcomes honestly. Recognize patterns that led away from peace and commit to alternative responses. Practice forgiveness toward yourself when you fall into short-term gratification. Self-compassion encourages learning rather than shame. Each moment is an opportunity to choose differently. Surround yourself with people who value peace and self-discipline. Supportive relationships reinforce your commitment and provide encouragement when temptations arise. Use visualization to imagine the benefits of long-term peace. Picture yourself calm, centered, and fulfilled despite life's ups and downs. This mental image strengthens motivation to choose wisely. Cultivate gratitude for the stability and contentment that peace brings. Gratitude shifts focus from craving to appreciation, reducing impulsive urges. Engage in mindful decision-making processes. Weigh pros and cons with clarity and calm. This practice reduces emotional reactivity and promotes thoughtful choices. Develop resilience to setbacks and frustration. When peace is disrupted, respond with steady composure and problem-solving, rather than immediate reaction. Balance work and rest to sustain mental and emotional energy. Overexertion increases vulnerability to short-term temptations. Prioritize self-care to maintain equilibrium. Avoid environments or influences that trigger impulsive behaviors. Create spaces that support reflection and calmness. Commit to lifelong learning about yourself and your triggers. Growth deepens your ability to choose peace consistently. Recognize that choosing long-term peace positively impacts all aspects of life, including health, relationships, and happiness. Celebrate progress in making peace-oriented choices. Acknowledge your strength and wisdom to reinforce continued effort. Embrace the reality that peace is an active practice, not a passive state. It requires intentionality and perseverance. By consistently choosing long-term peace over short-term satisfaction, you build a life rooted in stability, fulfillment, and true happiness. This path transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and cultivates lasting harmony within yourself and with the world around you. Chapter 19. Stay present when anxiety pushes you to react. Anxiety is a powerful force that often pushes you toward immediate reactions, clouding judgment and stirring unrest within. When anxiety rises, it can feel urgent and overwhelming, tempting you to respond impulsively in ways that may not serve your best interests. Staying present amid these feelings is a vital skill that allows you to face anxiety with calmness and clarity instead of reacting destructively. Recognize the physical and mental signs that anxiety is building. You might notice a racing heart, shallow breathing, tense muscles, or a flood of negative thoughts. Becoming aware of these symptoms early creates an opportunity to intervene before anxiety dictates your actions. Understand that anxiety is a natural response designed to alert you to perceived threats. It is not inherently harmful, but how you handle it determines its impact. Viewing anxiety as a messenger rather than an enemy shifts your mindset from fear to acceptance. Focus on grounding yourself in the present moment. Anxiety often pulls your mind into worst-case scenarios or past regrets. Direct your attention to the here and now by observing your surroundings with intention. Notice the colors, sounds, textures, and smells around you. This sensory engagement anchors you to reality and diminishes anxious spirals. Practice mindful breathing to calm the nervous system. Deep, slow breaths reduce physiological arousal and create space for reasoned thought. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold briefly, then exhale fully through your mouth. Repeat this cycle several times while concentrating solely on your breath. Use body awareness techniques to release tension. Gently scan your body from head to toe, noticing areas of tightness or discomfort. Consciously relax those muscles to ease physical stress that feeds anxiety. When anxious thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment. Label them as anxious thoughts, rather than getting caught up in their content. This distancing weakens their grip and prevents escalation. Redirect your mind to positive or neutral focuses. Engage in simple activities like counting backward, naming objects around you, or reciting a calming phrase. These distractions interrupt anxious patterns and restore mental balance. Train yourself to observe anxiety triggers without immediate reaction. Identify specific situations, people, or thoughts that tend to provoke anxiety. Awareness of triggers empowers you to prepare and respond with greater composure. Develop a mental checklist for moments of anxiety. Include steps such as pause, breathe, observe, and choose response. Rehearse this sequence regularly to strengthen automatic calming responses. Embrace the discomfort of anxiety as temporary and manageable. Remind yourself that feelings pass and do not have to control your actions. This acceptance reduces resistance and fear. Cultivate self-compassion during anxious moments. Speak kindly to yourself with reassuring phrases like "this feeling will pass" or "I am safe right now." Compassionate self-talk soothes emotional distress. Limit exposure to stresses that exacerbate anxiety when possible. This might mean setting boundaries around certain conversations, social media, or environments. Protecting your mental space supports presence. Seek professional support if anxiety frequently overwhelms you. Therapy, counseling, or medical advice can provide tools and guidance for effective management. Practice regular mindfulness meditation to build resilience against anxiety. Consistent practice trains your brain to stay present and observe emotions without getting overwhelmed. Use journaling to process anxious experiences. Writing helps clarify thoughts and emotions, making them easier to manage. Reflect on what triggered anxiety and what strategies helped calm you. Engage in physical exercise to release built-up tension and promote relaxation. Movement supports mental clarity and emotional regulation. Connect with supportive people who understand and encourage your efforts. Sharing your experiences reduces isolation and strengthens coping abilities. Remember that staying present is a choice that grows stronger with practice. Each moment you resist anxiety-driven reactions reinforces your control and peace. Celebrate small victories when you successfully stay grounded during anxious moments. Recognizing progress motivates ongoing commitment. Avoid self-criticism for anxious feelings or imperfect responses. Compassionate acceptance fosters growth more effectively than harsh judgment. Recognize the connection between sleep, nutrition, and anxiety levels. Maintaining healthy habits supports emotional stability. Incorporate calming rituals into your routine, such as reading, warm baths, or nature walks. These practices cultivate ongoing tranquility. Develop patience with the gradual nature of mastering presence amid anxiety. Progress unfolds over time through persistent effort. Balance acceptance of anxiety with proactive coping strategies. Both are essential for sustained emotional health. Understand that presence during anxiety enhances your ability to respond wisely, communicate clearly, and maintain inner calm. By staying present when anxiety pushes you to react, you reclaim control over your mind and emotions. This mastery transforms anxiety from a disruptive force into a manageable experience, empowering you to navigate life with confidence and peace. Chapter 20. Lead your life with quiet strength and inner control. Leading your life with quiet strength and inner control is a path to lasting fulfillment and resilience. This way of living does not rely on loud declarations or outward displays, but rests in a deep sense of self-mastery and calm confidence. It requires steady discipline, awareness, and the commitment to act in alignment with your highest values, regardless of external circumstances. Quiet strength begins with understanding that true power comes from within. It is not about overpowering others or demanding attention. Instead, it manifests as a calm presence that influences situations through steadiness and wisdom. When you cultivate this strength, you become a stabilizing force for yourself and those around you. Inner control means mastering your thoughts, emotions, and impulses rather than being driven by them. It is the ability to respond thoughtfully in any situation, maintaining balance, even when faced with stress or provocation. This control is a skill developed over time through intentional practice and self-awareness. Developing quiet strength starts with knowing yourself deeply. Reflect regularly on your core beliefs, desires, and fears. This self-knowledge forms the foundation for making choices that honor your true self instead of reacting to external pressures or expectations. Build habits that reinforce discipline and consistency. Small daily actions, such as mindful breathing, focused work, and respectful communication, accumulate into a strong character. Discipline is not about harshness, but about showing up for yourself consistently. Practice emotional regulation to maintain composure under pressure. Techniques like deep breathing, pausing before responding, and reframing negative thoughts help keep your mind clear and steady. Emotional control allows you to navigate conflicts and challenges without losing your center. Cultivate humility as part of your quiet strength. Recognize your limitations and remain open to learning. Humility does not diminish power. It enhances wisdom and fosters respect from others. Set clear boundaries to protect your energy and value. Inner control includes the ability to say no gracefully and assert your needs without guilt or aggression. Boundaries create safe space for your growth and peace. Engage in regular reflection to assess your progress. Honest self-evaluation reveals areas for improvement and reinforces strengths. Reflection deepens your connection to your purpose and guides your actions. Avoid the temptation to seek validation externally. Quiet strength relies on internal affirmation rather than approval from others. When your self-worth is self-sustained, external opinions lose their power to unsettle you. Lead by example through your behavior rather than words alone. Demonstrating integrity, patience, and kindness inspires others naturally. Actions rooted in inner strength speak louder than any speech. Develop patience to endure challenges without losing resolve. Life will present obstacles and setbacks. Inner control gives you the resilience to persevere calmly without frustration or despair. Embrace solitude as a time for replenishment and clarity. Moments alone help you reconnect with your inner voice and strengthen your mental focus. Solitude is not loneliness, but a powerful space for growth. Practice gratitude daily to foster contentment and humility. Appreciating what you have shifts your focus from lack to abundance, reinforcing emotional stability. Nurture physical health as it supports mental and emotional strength. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and sufficient rest are essential components of holistic inner control. Engage in mindful communication by listening deeply and speaking with intention. Thoughtful exchanges build trust and reduce unnecessary conflict. Manage stress proactively by incorporating relaxation techniques and hobbies that bring joy. A balanced lifestyle sustains your capacity for quiet strength. Surround yourself with people who respect and encourage your growth. Supportive relationships reinforce your commitment and provide perspective. Stay adaptable to change while holding firm to your principles. Flexibility in approach combined with steadfast values creates effective leadership and personal peace. Practice forgiveness toward yourself and others to release burdens that weaken your inner strength. Letting go of resentment frees mental energy for constructive focus. Recognize that quiet strength is not passive, but an active choice to engage life with discipline and grace. This mindset empowers you to face uncertainty with confidence. Celebrate small victories that reflect your growing self-mastery. Acknowledging progress fuels motivation and deepens your commitment. Understand that inner control enhances every area of life, including relationships, work, and personal fulfillment. When you lead from within, external chaos has less power over your experience. Commit to lifelong learning and growth. Quiet strength evolves through continual effort and self-discovery. By leading your life with quiet strength and inner control, you embody resilience, wisdom, and peace. This approach cultivates a grounded presence that influences positively without force. It frees you to live authentically, face challenges calmly, and inspire others through the power of your example.